Hello everyone, this is just going to be a quick tutorial on how to add effects to weapons, have objects follow players, and how to turn a vehicle into a mobile teleporter. First, you're going to select the weapon and the effects you want to add to it. Here I have selected the Gravity Hammer and the Gold Spark Shower. On the weapon, we're going to change its label. It can be any option you want. Here I've selected User Zulu. Again, doesn't matter which one you choose, but you'll need to remember which label you used. Next, we're going to add a script to the FX. We're going to set it so, when time check, initial 0, repeat 0.05. And then we want it to do action, move offset, targets, label add, user Zulu. This is telling it to move to the item with the label user Zulu. I want it to be closer to the head of the gravity hammer, so I'm going to increase the vertical value. The other value we're going to change is the time. We're going to change it to 0.10. This value will tell how fast the FX will move to the weapon. Now when we release the FX, it will move to the weapon and stay with it even after being picked up. After reviewing it in third person, I see its position needs to be adjusted to make it appear better attached to the weapon. This is done through the script's forward, horizontal, and vertical values, but for proof of concept, I'm going to leave it as is. Next, we're going to move to a sniper rifle with a dust cloud cover. This would work very well on the new Baron's canvas. Here I have about 5 or so Dust Devil FX grouped together to add a thicker effect, and a sniper rifle. Now the process is the same as the sparks and the hammer, except this time I will do the script first and then change the sniper's label. So we want to add script, time check, initial 0, repeat 0.05. And again we want it to do action, move offset, targets, label add, user Yankee. And then on the sniper, we wanted to change its label to user Yankee. You can see that when I change its label, the FX moves slowly to the weapon. That's because I forgot to change the time value to 0.10. The greater the value, the slower the FX will move. You can see when not scoped in, there is a light dust around you, but when you scope in, your vision is unchanged. I feel adding this weapon to a map built on the new Baron's canvas would add a cool and interesting camouflage. Next, we are going to go over scripting an object to follow a player. This would be useful in a haunted house type map where objects could fly off shelves at players, or a team type objective game where you would bring an object to your side to score. Now some objects do work better than others, so I've not yet figured out how to keep it facing the player. First off, we're going to turn the boundary of an object on. It can be either square or cylinder. For this example I went with cylinder and chose to have it show its boundary. Next, we're going to increase the boundary size. The size will depend on what you are using it for, but remember it will only follow a player as long as they are within the boundary. Once we have the boundary set, it is time to set the script. We want it to read, when boundary check, check continuous, filter players, repeat 0. We do not need a repeat value as it is already continuously checking to see if a player is within its boundary. Then we want it to do action, move offset, target activators. Activators refer to the player within the boundary. The forward, horizontal, and vertical values are used to tell it where and how close to follow. For this demonstration, I'm going to leave the values unchanged. Same goes for the time value, as I do not need it to move any faster or slower. Just remember, the greater the number, the slower the object will move. Finally, we will be going over how to turn any vehicle into a mobile teleporter. For this example, I chose the Scout Hawk. I felt it was a fitting choice, but any vehicle will work. As for the teleporter, in-game I would use the invisible variant, but for now I'm going to use the visible receiver node. First, just like the hammer and sniper rifle, we're going to change the vehicle's label. So we go to labels, and in this case, user whiskey. Again, any choice will work as long as you remember it and is not already being used by another item. Next, we're going to make sure the teleporter receiver node has its physics set to phase so it won't bump into anything. Then we are going to add our script to the teleporter receiver node, and it's going to be the same as the gravity hammer and sniper rifle. So we want it to say, when time check, initial 0, repeat 0.05, action, move offset, targets, label add, user whiskey. I wanted it to be behind the vehicle and off the ground a bit, so I set the forward value to a negative number and the vertical value to a positive number. We also want to make sure local is on so that the values will always be in relation to the vehicle, and once again we want the time to be 0.10 so that it will keep up with the vehicle. As you can see, when I move the vehicle, the teleporter stays behind it. The same can be said for when you drive it around. The last step is to have your sender node in your base set to the same channel as the receiver node, and you are all done. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and depending on how this does, I have some more ideas to share.
Move fast and stay low.